I'm going to say this before we start. How many of you are proud of these guys up here, Pastor Mike, Pastor Joe? In doing leadership stuff a lot, I talk about transitions. Many people don't want to weather transitions, right? Their ego's too caught up in it. It's got to be all about them. And these guys up here have done this as well as anybody else that I've seen. I get to go to lots of churches. I get to go to a lot of businesses where the owner, the guy that initially started the business, needs to transition, but won't, is afraid that, there's no way that the world can continue to move forward without him, right? When your faith is all wrapped up in just you and what you can do, it can wreck not only your future, but the future of other people that were relying on you. And this church is a reflection of transitioning well. Now, I didn't say perfect. Nobody does this thing perfectly. We would say that Jesus was the only guy that was perfect, let's say. So no human's going to be perfect, but these guys have done it as well as anyone that I have had the opportunity to meet with, spend time with, and we're family now. We're family. So you're going to get Ronnie raw, organic, authentic, transparent, crazy, loving, amazing, horrible, terrible, wonderful, up, down, inside, out, real, raw Ronnie. Why? Because we're family now. So I'm going to be honest with you. Some of you have been to family reunions before and were excited for the food, but not so much for the fellowship. You're excited about the macaroni and cheese, but then your mother-in-law showed up and you're like, uh-oh. I make jokes about my mother-in-law and family. Some people don't like that, but I make jokes for her. I wouldn't joke about her at all. I ain't crazy if I didn't like her. I love my mother-in-law. She's the most supportive, kind. My kids, I have two daughters, Addison and Kennedy. They love my mother-in-law. I call her Mima. Love her. My mother-in-law made an amazingly hot little daughter who I married, who I've been with now for 15 years. Thank you very much. And so I understand the dynamic of family. And this church, to me, Mike sitting on the front row, Cindy, Pastor Joe, my two great friends who, now you guys might say, oh, well, they're just saying they're friends because he's on the platform. They're here. These are the guys I vacation with. We just went to Universal Studios. We vacationed, had some fun. It's okay to have fun. You ain't got to take yourself so serious all the time. It's all right to have fun, get on a roller coaster. Some of you are married. You know what a roller coaster feels like. One day you up and you in it, excited. Next day you crying and screaming, hands up, don't know what turn's coming next. Marriage. But these are people that I care about on the real. These are people that I know that if I needed something, these are the people that I could call. I don't talk to folks that know church so well, but don't know people. You can understand Scripture, but not understand yourself. Uh-oh, here he goes. You spend your life defending a dogma instead of discovering a faith. You walk with people that can help you to discover a greater level of faith. I go to the corporate world all the time. You guys seen me here. I'll show you. You guys seen me use these silly things before. Some of you. How many of you have seen me use these little, some people say, man, this goofy glasses. Do you know I've taken these 99-cent pair of glasses to Fortune 100 companies? I just talked to the executives at American Express in Manhattan a few months ago. Then they asked me to do a virtual training. Check this out. I sat in a hotel room in McDonough, Georgia. Yeah, I know, little town south of Atlanta, with a laptop on, doing some work for American Express. I did a virtual training for them. There were people from 8 different countries watching me, interacting with me at one time. I'd ask them, I say, if this is something that's ever happened to you, would you raise your hand? They raise their hand. When I see these people in boardrooms, conference rooms, in 8 different countries around the world, I hit pause on the camera. You guys ever done a Skype FaceTime session? I hit pause, and then I was like, then I hit unpause and was like, sorry, it's a bad connection. But I took this to that level. Why? Because I know if you have good people around you, and you're committed to the thing that God has put in you, nothing can stop you except you. So tonight, let me tell you what we're going to do before I jump into this. Tonight, we're going to do a little hour-and-a-half workshop. At the end of service, I would challenge you to go out there and register for it. You get a free copy of this book. It's the download of Leading Lions. Free download. You get this. It's on your ticket. You can download this PDF form, my book, Leading Lions, that I created after I started working with NASA. But tonight, we are going to do an hour-and-a-half workshop on getting unstuck. How many of you have ever been at a place in your life where you just felt stuck? Come on, raise your hand. If you're not raising your hands, because you're stuck right now. Come on, stuck. I had one of the greatest mentors in my life. Pastor Mike says there's divine connections that will happen for you. I had a mentor that crossed my life over a decade ago. He crossed my path. He just stared at me, told me he was going to hire me and send me around the world, called my pastor and said, hey, can this guy go with me? My pastor said, yeah, take him. He said, it's right up your alley. That guy mentored me, taught me, gave me insights. One of the main insights that he gave me was the power of commitment. Tonight, we're going to do a workshop on what commitment really looks like. Because for many people, they have a lens that wanting something means that they're committed to it. Do you understand? As long as I want to make a difference, that means I will. And that's not how it works now. We don't get what we want. We get what we're committed to. So tonight, we're going to spend an hour and a half on getting committed. It's a $25 ticket. When you get a free download of the book. We're going to spend an hour and a half together. And I promise you, when you leave tonight, you will understand and have a tool that you can utilize to shift from where you are in your relationships with your finances, physical health, whatever that is, job, promotion, marketplace, community, whatever, a shift to take you to the next level. I'll give you a tool, and I've used that tool to open doors for me to go to places that in the beginning I never would have dreamed that I could go. How many of you would like to go to some places or some levels you've never been to before, but how many of you know it's going to take some work? Come on. If you'll do the work, God will work on you. Come on. Today we're going to talk about doing the work. We're going to talk about this series that we're in. Pastor Mike sent me a picture of the layout of the flow of the series for the year. He texted me a couple months ago and, hey, which one you want to come in and speak about? All I saw was the word results. And I said, that one. And here I am. If you're taking notes, write this down. If you're not taking notes, write it down anyway. Results are the name of the game. Results are the name of the game. Here's what my mentor taught me. Great phrase. I've used it many times. Results are often harsh, but they are always fair. Let me explain it. I'm going to sit down for a minute because some things are worth taking your time to explain. I'm not going to run around crazy because sometimes it's just one little tool, one little shift in how you think that can unlock the lock that opens the door to your next level. I want you to understand that results are often harsh, but they're always fair. Now, here's the question. Is life always fair? Yes or no? No, but the results are. The results you produce are fair. Why? Because you can look at the results that you're producing on your job, in your marriage, with your physical health, finances, all these different areas. You can look at the result, and the result will tell you what's actually going on for you. Many people don't want to look at the results. They'll have me come in and talk to their team, and they'll say, well, this is the way it's going, and this is what's going on. I get in, look behind the curtain, see what's really going on in the results that are being produced, and I say, we're going to have to make some shifts. Many people live in this world of delusion where they don't want to look at the result that's being produced and really own it. They want to sweep it under the rug. Let me tell you something about sweeping it under the rug. You keep sweeping it under the rug, eventually you're going to trip over it. Results are the name of the game. Say results. Results. There's an art to producing results. There's an art to it. You ever noticed how some people in life seem to just make good things happen? You ever notice that? It's like, man, they got this thing down. You ever seen that? Some people's just like what they touch turns to gold. What they do just starts to grow. They've got it down. They've got the art down. There's a finesse to it. We're going to talk about the art of producing good results. Some people, you hand a paintbrush in front of a canvas. They can do amazing things with it. You ever seen anybody that can do that? You give me a brush, put me in front of a canvas, you're going to get 2 stick figures. You know what I'm talking about? A little circle with some little wavy lines around it. That's the sun. You know what I'm talking about? The little upside down W, that's the birds. That's about all I got when it comes to canvas. But when it comes to painting my life, I was given some tools that I would say I'm getting pretty good at. With God, all things are possible. Say that. God, all things are possible. You can do all things, but you can't do everything. Some people have this lens, well, man, I got to be amazing at everything. No, you got to find what you're good at, the slant that God has given you. Focus on doing that, and you'll produce amazing results that will then help you to leap into other levels of success in other things, but you've got to learn to do some things really, really well. There's an art to it. Say, there's an art to it. 3 things when it comes to the art of producing producing better results. Number 1, the art of producing results. First thing you have to have is something called awareness. Say awareness. One of my favorite phrases, I've said it many times, awareness is the beginning of change, but self-awareness is the beginning of progress. I don't really care how good you are at pointing the finger at what everybody else's problem is. You can point your finger and say, well, this is what mama does. It's what daddy does, what Pastor Mike does, what Pastor Joe is, and it's what they do. It's what my spouse does, how my kids are. Just the way the community is, the way the world is. You can point the fingers and have all the awareness in the world from that standpoint, but it's the self-awareness that I'm going to talk to you about very quickly that will help you to produce better results. You need self-awareness. Here's where it starts. I'm going to ask all of you to do this with me, if you would. Take your hand, put it over your heart. Put your hand on your heart. Everybody do it? You guys get it? Here's what I'd like for you to do. Repeat after me and say, I'm an addict. All right, you can move your hand now. Now, some people, I told you I was going to explain this. Some people, I can't believe you'd say that. I'm offended that you would say I'm an addict. Right? Come on. Words are powerful. I get it, right? Are they not? Yes. We're all addicts. Can I tell you what you're addicted to? I'm about to mess with you. You're addicted to you. You're addicted to what you call you. So how your brain works is you have this thing called the frontal lobe. How many of you are familiar with science of the mind, know how your brain works? How many of you know somebody's got a nice, really good brain? How many of you know somebody you feel like really lacking a good brain? Working on your mind, just so you know, doesn't offend God. I believe it elicits his help. Some of you really like that one. I can see that you're writing it down. Here's how your brain works. Frontal lobe, say frontal lobe, makes up 40% of your brain. Most of the size of your brain's frontal lobe. So here's what I'll tell you the frontal lobe does. The frontal lobe is where you can imagine things, see pictures. How many of you have ever imagined something happening before? It wasn't really happening, but you imagined it, and the next thing you know, you were in a heightened state, ready to take whatever on it was. It's called a predator present. So what psychologists call it. It's called a predator being present. So here's what can happen. Let me tell you how this works, the addiction to you. You sit around, you can close your eyes, and you can imagine something traumatic, horrible happening to you, and your body physiologically responds to that picture. Would you agree, yes or yes? How many of you have sat around before, awfulizing, worried about the worst case scenario, laying in bed, holding a picture of what's going to go on at work, and your whole body, worry, anxiety, all comes because of the picture you're holding of what you think tomorrow is going to look like? This is the power of your mind. That's why in Scripture it talks about renewing your mind. It means to take what you're thinking and how you're seeing it and renew it. Put something new on there. Many of us won't do it. Why? We're so addicted to thinking the way that we always have. So here's what happens. You close your eyes. You imagine something. You can imagine being angry. Imagine guilt, shame, be aroused, be ready to fight. I mean, come on. Does your brain? Yes. You can close your eyes and imagine things, and here's what happens. Based on the picture that you hold, your brain kicks off certain chemicals that in the church world we call emotion. Many of us are run by our emotions. Would you agree? Yes or yes? So I was thinking about saying no, but he didn't let me say no. I say that to my daughter Addison sometimes. I'm like, yes or yes? My daughter Kennedy, who's 4, you say yes or yes, she'll be like, no. Oh no, little fireball. Don't know where they get it either. Your brain, you hold the picture. Here's what happens. I'm going to give you guys something so that we break this, because I'm all about breaking something. I want to break something that something new can start to work for us, right? You hold a picture in your mind, your brain kicks off certain chemicals. Now, think about this, just so I can prove that I'm right, so that you guys know how right I am about this, because it's true. When you ingest a chemical like caffeine, can you get addicted to it really quickly? Yes or yes? Some of you are addicted to it right now. You're shaking, sitting in the seat. Am I right? You know what they say about coffee? If you ain't shaking, you need another cup. Do you get addicted to caffeine? Yes or no? Yes. Can you get addicted to nicotine? Yes. Can you get addicted to alcohol? Yes? Come on. Yes. So what makes you think that you can't get addicted to the chemicals that your brain is producing based on the pictures that you're choosing to hold in your mind? Hey, no, don't clap yet. I ain't done. When it comes to how you would normally feel, we call it being in a state. See, one of the beauties about coming and serving and being a part of a community and doing stuff at church and being the leader on your job is not that you get to do something, it's that you get to become something. You start to become a person that stands in a different state of being. So the chemicals that you kick off, you get so used to a state of being that when you don't feel those emotions from those chemicals, you start saying to yourself, something must be wrong. So you could pray at night, get yourself right before you go to bed, get up in the morning, ready to take on the day, and your brain says, hold up, this ain't how you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to start thinking about all those things that didn't work back then. Write this phrase down. You're getting high on your own supply. You're addicted to you. Well, this is how I normally feel come lunchtime. I usually go to lunch, eat me something, energy drops off, and I'm just crashing. I'm surviving the rest of the day. Because after lunch, woo, it's a downhill battle. Come on, you ever been there? It's the train wreck after lunch. Carbs are the enemy, and I am just tapped out. You're so used to that feeling that when it's not there, you'll pull up the old picture to fire off the old chemical so that you feel good about who it is that you believe you are. Listen to me. You get control of this, all this will start to line up. You start producing results that are different than what you used to tell yourself was who you are because they rejected you, you lost money, you went bankrupt, you went through a divorce, it didn't work out the way that you wanted. And those images are so deep-rooted in your subconscious because when you went through them, there was some really strong emotion. It mattered. And here's the good news. People ask me, somebody came up to me this morning and says, do you still get nervous when you get ready to go on the platform? I said, yes. They said, really? I said, yeah, because it matters. If it ever stops mattering, and you can see Ronnie Doss walk up here without any passion in his voice, serious about what he's doing, please don't invite me back. I haven't earned this platform. When you give your everything to the people you're in front of and do things that your brain's going, oh, that ain't no big deal, don't even worry about that no more. When you push through that, and will yourself past the old programming, you start seeing new results that you hadn't seen before. Can I give you a phrase? Seeing is believing. You ready? Y'all like, man, yeah, that's good, right? Y'all have heard it. You're like, well, I think I've heard that before. But you probably hadn't heard this part of it. It actually came from a longer phrase that said, seeing is believing, but feeling is reality. So you can see something and it's not real until there's a charge of a chemical that gets kicked off and now you feel it and you go, wow, they cut me off in traffic. Where before you're like, oh, ain't no big deal, I don't even care. Now they cut you off. Now you feel the chemical. Now you're in a rage and now it's their fault. That becomes your reality because of a chemical that gets kicked off in you. Do you think that your brain and your neural pathways could get used to the old way of thinking that you've always had? Yes or yes? You've got to break the addiction to you. Paul was in prison, and the circumstances looked pretty rough. Do you think he was feeling pretty bad at the time that you're shackled and they're beating you? Do you think that that feels good? No, but you know what he started doing? He started singing praises because he knew if he could will himself past the old pain of the flesh that's going, this is your permanent situation. He said, if I can will myself past, hold a picture of what God is and hold that, sing to that, speak to that, some miracle will happen. And guess what? It did. Many of us don't see the miracles in our life because we're too addicted to the comfort of being who we used to be. Miracles don't happen in comfort. They happen right in the middle of the transition when you're pushing yourself through who you think you used to be. I left y'all on that one. Lord, have mercy. Great question. What have I been addicted to? I mean, I always think my spouse is going to act this certain way. And then when my spouse acts this way, I get to say, there it is. Then I'm certain, prove myself right, get a dopamine drip. Man, it feels good to be right, even though what I'm right about is wrecking my peace of mind. But I'm addicted to this drama. Write this little phrase down. Some of you have teams. Drama is a diversion. You the kind of person speaking negative in your life all the time? Talking about what the drama is that's going on, what they're doing, what they ain't doing, what you can't do? When you're speaking about it, it creates an atmosphere in front of you that you stand in. You can write this little phrase down. Atmosphere is seductive. You aren't careful with the picture you hold, what you speak, create that atmosphere, you'll stand in it. That environment and that atmosphere will seduce you back into believing that you are who you used to be. So don't tell me you're going to come to church or do anything else for that matter and not be willing to confront some of that old addiction and go, oh, that was the old me. The new me could look like this. And through that practice, you become the better version of you. If you won't practice it, don't expect the prize. This takes work. Becoming takes work. Paul said, I crucify my flesh daily. This ain't a game. Change is a process. It is never a one-time event. Most people say, I tried that thing Ronnie did about the addiction and the thing, and it just didn't work that one day on that Friday. It's a process of practice. And if you can fall in love with the practice of saying, hey, this is who I used to be, but this is where I can really go and hold that picture of you for your family, for your business, for your job, for your future, you break an old addiction. And guess what? The new you emerges. I'm into new yous. I like the new you. I don't want to be who I used to be. The way you break that is awareness. Here's the second thing you have to have. You guys are going to like this one. It's going to be fun. The second thing you have to do to have for this art of creating better results is you must be willing to rid yourself of resistance. Brian, can I have that chair? Say, rid yourself of resistance. Where's Joe at? One of you guys didn't. Joe, right? Joe, would you come up here? Joe's like, uh-oh. I met Joe before service. Joe's a twin. Joe's 1 minute older than his twin. He said he's much wiser, much smarter, yet sharper.
He said it, not me.
Now look. Now look what we did. Anyway. The reason I'm taking so much water this past week, I didn't tell first service. I had to go get a scope done on my vocal cords. They're damaged, they're strained. I talk a lot. And I had to go to Vanderbilt. They ran this thing down my throat, looking at it. They showed me what's going on. I'm going to start some rehabilitation on my muscles and my throat so I can keep doing what I've been called to do. It ain't going to stop me. But you know what? Wait a minute, hold up. We're going to do a little bit of therapy on this. What would make me think that this being the muscle that I'm going to use and flex as much as I do, that I wouldn't need to take care of it? I have a responsibility to take care of me so I can help other people. You have a responsibility to get past the resistance so you can step up because there's other people that you're called to. You understand? Wait, this thing ain't about you. It's about what you can become to create the space for somebody else after you to step up and be better. My 2 daughters will be better than I am. How do I know that? I create that space. Now, they might not do exactly what I would hope that they would do, but whatever they're going to do, they're going to be great at it. You know why? Because I'm going to teach them ownership, personal responsibility, leading yourself, self-awareness, all those things, and ask them, hey, what are you resisting about you right now? Joe, would you hold your hands up like this? Stick them out, please, for me. Stick them out like that. Like that. You have any wrist injuries?
Nope.
Right, make sure you didn't fall. You okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Ooh, you strong. He's strong like an ox. Not as strong as me, but you strong. Ooh, you really strong. Oh, wow. Put your hands down. Here you go. Ready? Oh, no. Look at him. Look how nervous he is. He's like, oh, my God. You see this? Joe, you see what he's doing? Let me ask you guys a question. What's he doing? He's resisting. You resisting a little bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Joe, who's in control of this situation right now?
Absolutely not me.
Yeah, that's it. Not me. Not me. Now, can I tell you guys a little secret? I just said rid yourself of resistance. I'm teaching on it. The moment I hit his hands, what did he start doing? So he's programmed to resist and doesn't know it. Okay? You're programmed to do the things that you're doing. A lot of times you don't know it. You're delusional because you just keep doing it. You say, well, this is how I've always been. You're addicted to that thing. He's resisting. He just said it. Who's in control? Who's in control right now?
Pretty much you.
Pretty much me. Stop resisting. You see? You see? Let me tell you a little secret. You guys, I was taught this idea and was asked, Ronnie, what are you resisting about you? I mean, you say you're a faith guy. It's my mentor speaking in his squeaky voice. He said, you say you're a faith guy, but God's got these plans for you. But Ronnie, what are you resisting about you that's keeping you from taking it to the next level? And I start talking about my story, where I came from, some of the limiting issues that I had. Grew up in a small town, didn't have the education, didn't have the support that I thought. Family wasn't wealthy by any means, all those resources. He said, Ronnie, that's just your story. He said, you're more caught up in your prediction than you are the possibility of what God can do in your life. He said, but let me help you. I said, all right, help me. He said, your lenses, you got a nice head, by the way. It fits real nice with those glasses. He said, your lenses have told you that when something happens in your life that you don't think was right, how you were raised, where you came from, your family didn't have enough money, you weren't smart enough, you didn't have the goods, people were ugly to you, you must not have what it takes. He said, the moment that you think about those things, put your hands up, resist again like you were doing, take you back. He said, the moment you start resisting those things start to control you. He said, because your lenses say, for me to be in control of my life, I got to resist. And let me tell you this, what you resist will persist. Your lenses say, to be in control, I must resist. But what I'm going to tell you today, write this down. When you resist, you lose control. Many of you aren't in control of your marriage right now. You're not in control of your physical health and your finances because you're resisting the possibility of what the next level for you could look like because you're so right about how you used to be the person that can't produce the results that on some level you want to produce. Your addiction to being right is stronger than your commitment to a result. When Joe stopped resisting, what happened? He got control back. You guys with me? Give Joe a round of applause. Go grab a seat, Joe. Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Oh, yeah, I can take it back. Thank you, man. My man. I have twin sisters. You guys I've ever told you about my twin sisters? Carol and Crystal. One of them, fabulous, big hair, walks around rhinestone boots and everything like that all the time. Her identical twin, 9 minutes older, not 1 minute, right? 9 minutes older, is a police chief, carries a Glock, and will blast on you, happily. Other one's like, hey, Carol. Carol's like, back up. Rid yourself of resistance. Here's the last thing, and we're done. Pastor Mike's going to come up here. I won't spend too much time. Tonight's going to be phenomenal. Third thing you need awareness. Rid yourself of resistance. Like you see something somebody's doing, you're getting all anxious about it, all anxious and angry and all that stuff. You say, hey, wait a minute. What am I creating here? I want my peace of mind. What am I labeling this as? What's the picture I'm putting on this? Come on, I'm getting my peace of joy back in that and create from that space, not pushing against it. Third thing you need, the ART, A-R-T. The third thing is you need a tribe. A tribe. These guys here on front, they're my tribe. My sisters, they fight you. My little twin sisters, right? Crystal, the one that's not a cop, she bites you. You mess with me, she come bite you. I don't know, she's weird like that, just bites you. You mess with one of them, you're gonna what? You're gonna get both? Come on. They'll tell you. They probably fight about stuff. Y'all play gaming, Call of Duty? I knew it. I knew I could tell by how he yelled out. These guys are gamers. They'll argue about the gaming, but mess with one of them. This is what this room is supposed to look like. You talk ugly about one of us, nah. We ain't gonna judge you, but we're gonna say, hey, hold up. Is the person that you are talking this way about here to defend themselves? No? Well, then let's just go find them and share with them what it is that you have to say and see how that works out. It'll stop, listen, hold up. It'll stop the drama in its tracks. And it ain't comfortable, but you live like that. You need a tribe. I thank God for these guys. I didn't have brothers growing up. I didn't. But God will strategically align you with the people in your life that you need to help you to get to the next level if you're willing to bring your A game to help them to do the same. Don't keep believing you're supposed to get invited to the table if you ain't bringing anything to it. You need a tribe. Many of us wear these lenses, guys. That's what I've learned. That's why this church, family church, come on, family. There might be fights, but you know what? We're standing for each other. We're going to come back because together we can take a community. Divided? Nah, we ain't that powerful. But many people have the lens of, I'm just going to do it all myself. Nobody cares about me. Nobody values me. Nobody understands how good I am. And that belief is the picture that we hold because we don't practice the shift and keep practicing till we get it right. We hold that image. They don't value me. They don't care about me. That's the picture. We then get the chemicals of the emotion. That's the state that we're in. And then we can look around and go, wow, I don't have a whole lot of a tribe. Let me tell you what I've learned. If you look around and you don't have a tribe, the tribe ain't the problem. It's your attitude. You shift your belief in what's possible for you and how God cares for you, loves you, and has equipped you to do wonderful things. You shift your picture on that. Your spirit will rise. Jesus said, when I be lifted up, I draw men unto me. When you lift Jesus up in your life, when you say, hey, with God, all things are possible, and I'm going to do the work, guess what? You'll draw your tribe to you that can lock arms with you and help you get to where it is that you've been called to go. I love you guys. Amen.